My name is Jessica Bell,
My name is Dwayne Ben.
and you are now tuned in to SLV Hornets TV. Today we have a guest speaker. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Lamont Cole. I serve as the Superintendent of Schools for East Baton Parish School System.
Okay. And how are you doing today?
Hey, listen, I'm doing excellent.
Okay. And how do you feel to be in the nest today?
How do I feel?
To be in the nest.
What is the nest?
The Hornets nest.
This classroom? This school?
This school.
Oh, I feel it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you good young people today. I'm enjoying it. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Here,
Okay. Could you tell me a little bit about what you do?
So I serve as a superintendent, which is my job is to ensure every school in our school system has the resources they need in order to help children be successful. So I'm supposed to make sure all the principals and all of the staff in the school system does exactly what they're supposed to be doing so all of you can be successful.
Okay. And what achievements got you here today?
Hard work, commitment, and dedication. I mean, I did have to go to school, graduated from high school. I went to college at Southern and LSU. I earned 2 degrees. I started as a teacher 28 years ago, and then I became a dean, and then an assistant principal, then a principal, then a chief academic officer. And then a year ago, I got called and asked to serve as superintendent of the school system. So a lot of hard work, I'm probably a little different from a lot of people in terms of the way I approach things. So I got some really high standards for myself. And as a result of that, I think those are the things that have led to me being able to be in this role today. I'm probably the only person who grew up in EBR school system and then became superintendent of the school system where I grew up. I'm probably one of the few people who was a student and a teacher at the school where I was a student and then I became principal. I went to Capitol Middle. Then I was a teacher there for 5 years, and I was the principal there for 2 years. So I've had a lot of success in this town, but it's because I had a lot of support, a lot of good people, a lot of good mentors supporting me along the way.
Okay. We know that you are involved with making the rules and the guidelines of EBR schools. And I know that could weigh a lot on us, but us as students, we have questions on why certain rules became in effect.
Sure, ask me whatever you want to know, but I want to be clear about something. The school board creates policies. There are 9 members of the school board, and they work together to create policies and the rules and the regulations. I then have to be responsible for making sure people follow those rules. So I can talk to you about, what I know, why they were made, and then we can go from there. So what do y'all want to know?
Okay.
So what are some ways that our voices can get heard? Like if we feel like our voices are heard.
Well, if you feel like your voice is unheard, I think the first thing you got to ask yourself, you got to organize and be clear on what it is you want to talk about. And then when you're organized, then you got to do some research and find out who can help us to change the things we don't like. And then once you do that research and find out who those individuals are, then you put out a request to meet with them. That could be through email, that could be through phone call, that could be through text message, that could be through contacting them on social media. I think oftentimes when we talk about student voice, students don't always know what they want to happen in order to resolve their concern, right? So think about that and get organized around what you want to do and then identify who can help you. Some of what goes on at Scotlandville High School could be resolved by teachers. Some of what goes on at Scotlandville could be resolved by the principal. But then, of course, there are things that are above the school level and can be resolved by other individuals. So being very specific on what it is you guys want to accomplish or want to see change, and then thinking about who could help you change that. If it's your school board member, it's just a matter of reaching out to the school board member and requesting they come and see you. I think one of your teachers reached out to me on social media and asked me to be here. And then when I came today, another teacher said, hey, we need you. You can't leave until you come and meet with our class, So I cared enough to stop what I was doing and come see y'all.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Okay. So I want to know, why is the school board so strict on uniforms?
So in 1998, there was a movement in this city where a lot of kids were being teased and ridiculed because they didn't have the nice sneakers and the nice clothes that other students had. And what we started to see in the late 90s was an increase in the number of kids who weren't coming to school as a result of feeling like they were being ridiculed because they didn't have the nice clothes that other students had. And so the school board back in 1998 made a decision to remove that stigma, so to speak. If we make sure all of the kids look the same, then perhaps they wouldn't be teased. And so that's when we went to uniforms in the fall of 1999. Now, I personally, as superintendent, thinks the uniform takes away from kids' individuality, right? When I was a school principal, I probably gave more free dress days than any principal in the city because I knew it helped to create an environment and a culture that kids loved and appreciated. You know, I was probably the best principal ever in the history of the city. That's just what I believe about myself because of the way we tried to engage students and make school a fun place to be. But I think you guys, if you want to see that change, you have to think about and do a little research around why was that implemented in the late 90s. And then what can you do to see that shift back in the other direction? I think also you guys should really think about it's really your school improvement environment, your school improvement team, which consists of the parents, the teachers, as well as your school leadership, who can determine whether or not you all wear uniforms. Because when that rule was implemented back in the 90s, the onus was placed on the schools to decide whether or not they wanted to opt in or opt out. That's why you see schools like Liberty and Baton Rouge High don't have to wear uniforms, because those schools chose to not do it based on their school improvement team. So the question becomes, have you done your research to know that your parents, along with folks in this community, as well as the school leadership, could have a meeting and say, we don't want our kids to wear uniforms anymore? And that doesn't have to come to me. That just simply is a decision you all can make here as a community, and then you don't have to wear uniform. However, if there are increased problems, if kids are stopped coming to school, if chronic absenteeism goes through the roof as a result of kids feeling like they're going to be teased because can't wear polo. What's the popular name brand nowadays? Back in my day, it was Polo and Jabot. What is it now?
Maybe like Jordan.
Well, I heard it's Jordan. Everybody wear Jordans, but I mean clothes, gear, shirts, and pants. What's the popular jeans right now? Essential. What's the popular jeans? Everybody, they got some
purple.
Yeah. So if that's the popular gear and people wearing that to school, and then you have kids whose families can't afford that and they don't want to come to school, then you got to start thinking about, is going to not wearing uniforms going to be better for the environment? Or is it going to, is wearing uniforms better for the environment? All right, you know, I gave free dress days because I always made it. I would say to students, if we have zero fights, if we have, you know, no social media drama, then you guys can have free dress day for the whole week. And so every week we didn't have any issues, I would say keep on wearing what you want. Then the first time we had an issue, I would say we putting them uniforms back on, tuck your shirt in, pull your pants up, put your belt on. If you didn't have a belt, I would get a zip tie and put it around your belt loose. This is the way it's going to be until you guys recognize we're going to have peace around here. We have peace, and you can have what you want. If you don't give me peace, then I'm going to get what I want or what you don't like. So, you know, your happiness is not going to be the source of my frustration. But if you make me happy, then we all going to be happy. And so that was the way we operated when I was a principal. It's kind of hard to do that with 73 schools, but I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to have that level of engagement with the student bodies at all of our schools so they can all be happy. If we had zero fights in our school system, I'd be the first one saying we got to make sure we're able to give kids what they want. They want to have free dress day. They want to have dances. They want to do a lot of fun things at school. We got to make sure we can provide them with what they want, as long as they give us what we need. And what we need is to have safe environments in our schools.
Okay.
I know I talk a lot. I'm sorry I gave such a long answer. Got a lot to say, though.
Okay.
What else? Keep them flowing.
I have a question. It's kind of more on a personal side, though.
Sure, ask me whatever you want. I'm an open book.
What are one of the changes you made that you're most proud of
In life or as superintendent?
as superintendent?
As superintendent, I think the biggest change I made that I'm most proud of is I said to a lot of the people who work at the central office, you got to go back in schools and support the schools. And so we have seen a tremendous amount of support at the school building level around the work that we are doing at our schools. So I'm most proud of that. I also think one of the changes we made that has helped a lot is we changed the school start time at Glen Oaks High School and Capitol High School. They don't have to be at school until 9 o'clock. And I think that's a huge change for them, because when I was at Glen Oaks a couple of weeks ago talking to some of the kids, they were like, I ain't tired when I get to school no more. I don't have to be up as early. It feels good to not have to wake up. Sometimes I can get up, work out, do whatever. That's what one of the uh, football players told me. They get up early in the morning, come to the school workout, and they're able to go back home and take a shower and still be fresh for school. So I think that was a huge change. I think I walked into some school buildings last year and they were in deplorable conditions. And they were buildings that were so horrible. I didn't think kids should be in buildings like that. So I shut some buildings down, closed some schools, and put kids in better situations. We established a dress code for the adults. I believe you ought to dress appropriately when you come to work. I think I wear a suit and tie every single day. I didn't know I was going to be here today, but I didn't know I was going to be in this classroom giving this interview. So I'm always going to be prepared. You know what the saying says, if you stay ready, you never got to get ready. So I stay ready. Be clean, be dressed, be appropriate, haircut, nails clean, cologne smelling. I mean, I'm going to be ready at all times. Because if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. So we implemented a dress code because I believe when I come around you young people, I ought to look like something. I ought to leave a smell that you all can appreciate instead of coming in here musty looking like anything. Or to come in here dressed appropriately, looking professional, and conduct myself as a professional, so that when you see me, you say, at least our superintendent look good. You know, I could be dumb as I don't know what, but at least I look good doing it. You know what I mean? So it's important to establish a certain level of standards for yourself. And I think those types of things lead to a more professional environment. So I think I answered about 10 questions there that you didn't ask, but did I answer the one you asked? All right. Keep them flowing. We have a good time. All right.
How do you plan to, how do you plan to, how do you put it?
Beat you shooting free throws?
Can't even do that.
No, I probably can't do that. But
How do you plan to keep students, how do you plan to keep students healthy and learning over the next few years?
I pray about this every night and every day. I wish I could meet every single student in our school system and have a one-on-one conversation with them about how important they are, not only to the school system, but to the world. And I wish I could say to them, all of you, do you look in the mirror and tell yourself how important you are every day?
How do you plan to improve student success over the next few years?
You know, I think what I would love to do is meet with every single student in the school system and express to them how important they are. And then encourage them to look in the mirror every single day and realize how important they are. I think if students knew their value, I think if students knew that we love and care about them, they would show up every day and think differently about the decisions they make. You know, one bad decision could change your whole life. A series of good decisions could always put you in a position to be successful. I think the thing I want to share with you all is I have, in my lifetime, gotten every single thing I ever asked for in life. Everything I've ever asked for in life, I got it. Every job I wanted, every car I wanted to drive, every place I wanted to travel to, I shouldn't say this, but I told y'all I ought to be honest with y'all. Every girl I wanted to date, I have been successful in everything. I really feel like I'm one of God's favorites. I really feel like that. But I feel like that because I go out of my way to treat people right. I go out of my way to treat people right. You know, I live by a simple philosophy. Treat me bad, I treat you good. Treat me good, I treat you better. I'm going to always be in competition to treat people better than they could ever possibly treat me. And some people who treat me bad, I can't treat people how they treat me because I need all my blessings. And so therefore, I have been supremely blessed in my life. I mean, really blessed in ways I can't even talk about on camera because it might be too deep. But let's just know, whatever I ask for, I get it. Tell you a story. The other day I was driving down the street and I said to myself, you know, I get everything I ask for. I need to ask for something bigger. I need to ask for $1 billion. So I started talking to God out loud. I said, God, find a way to give me $1 billion so I could help this world in a different way. I said, if I had $1 billion, I would really show people how to do this because the objective should be to help people get better. And so 2 days later, I got a phone call and it said, there's a gentleman in town who wants to meet you. He said that he's observed you on television. He's read articles about the things you're trying to get in the school system. He wants to meet you. So they set up a meeting for me to sit down with this individual. I'm not going to call his name. But when I sat down with him and I started talking to him, he shared a lot of things with me. And something just said, look him up on Google. He's a billionaire. So what does that say to me? I asked for $1 billion and God put me in a place to talk to a billionaire. I never met one before, but I sat down and talked to him. And then 2 days later, he texted me and said, hey, that was Wednesday. He texted me and said, hey, I really enjoyed sitting down talking to you. Why don't you come by my house and let's talk about how I can help you? So maybe I'm on my path to being a billionaire simply because I asked for it. But I always go back to the way I choose to live my life. Treat people right. Treat people right. Even when they treat me bad, treat them right. Because I'm not thinking about them. I'm thinking about what I want out of this world, right? And so over the next few years, I want to hopefully teach students about the value of making good decisions, treating people right, and then ultimately, as a result of you treating each other right, you create an environment that is one of peace. And like I said, if all of you feel safe in this environment, we got to start thinking about how do we teach other adults to create environments where students feel safe. Because you all say y'all feel safe here, right?
Yes, sir.
Why do you feel safe?
Because we have people in place making sure that
Keep going. Making sure that you're safe?
you're making sure we have
Like what? What are the things that the folks here do to make you feel safe?
following safety protocols, making sure our IDs on, we will have the correct outerwear, making sure our teachers are in place, we're learning, everyone's in class, everybody gets to class on time, things of that nature.
So if those are the things that make you feel safe, and those are the things that you all as students feel help you to feel safe, we got to figure out how to make that happen at every school in our city so everybody feels safe. You ought to wake up in the morning excited about coming to school, and when you get here, you ought to feel like nothing's going to happen to me because there are people who are going to protect me. You ought to feel that way. And if everybody feels that way, they ain't no need to fight. They don't need to be upset. They don't need to be mad. In an environment like that, you should be happy, full of love, full of joy. Somebody step on your shoe and say, excuse me, it's okay. Somebody step on your shoe and don't say, excuse me, it's okay. As long as you feel safe, that should be the objective. That should be the goal. But I think we oftentimes get into a mindset of, he played on my top. He said something slick to me. He tried to holler at my girlfriend. She tried to talk to my boyfriend. He looked at me crazy. I don't know what's wrong with him. We get into those thought processes instead of maybe they having a bad day. Maybe somebody in their family died. Maybe he didn't see me coming. Or maybe he didn't know that was my girlfriend. And even if he did know it was my girlfriend, maybe she said something to him first. Maybe I need to check her. So it's just a level of thinking that has to shift towards being more positive instead of negative. And I'm going to try to make sure teachers and students know that, and we can have a safer environment. Because if every school in the city was safe and every kid came to school happy, I guarantee you we all would learn at real high levels. And I think we'd have the best school system in the country. That's the goal.
Okay. What does a successful East Baton Rouge Parish school system look like to you?
Where kids start in pre-K 3 and get a good early childhood education and graduate on time with options. And what I mean by options is that if you want to go to college, you've been prepared to go to college. If you want to go in the workforce, you can go into the workforce. If you want to go into the military, you can go into the military. If children feel like they had a very comprehensive, robust experience, and they now feel prepared to go out into the world and do whatever they want. And we had 100% graduation rate, 100%, which means that every kid who starts in pre-K, goes to kindergarten, goes to first 12th grade, is eligible to graduate from high school on time with options. So when all of you graduate from high school, you feel like I'm ready to go out into the world and pursue the things that I love and make me feel good about as a person. Again, if I want to go to Southern University or LSU, I can. I'm ready. If I want to go to the military, I can. I'm ready. If I want to start my own business, I learned how to do that in school, so I'm ready. I'm ready to do the things I know are going to make me feel good about a person. I think that's a successful school system. And I think a whole lot has to go into that in order for that to happen. And we're working on it every day, from can't see in the morning to can't see at night. Y'all know what that is? Do y'all know what can't see in the morning and can't see at night is?
Waking up and going to school.
No, can't see in the morning. What? Listen to what I said.
Dark.
When it's dark in the morning. So when I wake up, it's still dark outside every morning. And when I get home from work, it's dark outside. So that's how hard and how many hours I put in trying to do things that I know are going to help you all be successful. It's going to be a long interview.
All right. So I am curious though, because you have said a lot of like inspiring stuff here. Like, if you had to give us like here at the school like one bit of advice, what would you give us?
Believe in yourself. Be a leader. Make your own decisions and have some integrity. Tell the truth and do the right thing, even if nobody is listening. So let me repeat that again. Being a leader means think for yourself. Don't do something because everybody else is doing it. If that's something you truly want to do, then do it. Ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Do I really believe this is the right thing to do? Or am I doing this because I see everybody else doing it? That's number one. And then have some integrity. Do the right thing and tell the truth even when nobody is looking. Do the right thing. I mean, we all know what's the right thing to do. So just do the right thing, right? Have some integrity. So be a leader, have some integrity, and then have confidence. Believe in yourself. You know, even if you don't know if you can do something, believe in yourself. I have never been a follower in my life. Never. I've always done things a little bit differently than everybody else. But I also believe doing things differently, thinking for myself, having confidence in who I am has led to me being successful in life. So those are the tips I would leave you with. Be a leader, have confidence, and have some integrity. I think if you do those three things, you can do whatever you want in the world. And even if you're not successful, when I was y'all's age, I thought I was going to the NBA. And when I was in college playing basketball, I realized this ain't gonna work out for me. I'm not big enough. I'm not fast enough. And I'm not even a starting point guard on the team that I'm playing on. So I got to start thinking about something different. But I tried it. It didn't work out. So we move on to something else. And when we moved on to something else, you know, things end up working out really well. And I'm proud of where I am, not only in my profession, but I'm proud of where I am in life. I got a wife. I got two wonderful children. I just feel good about where I am. I'm able to help my mother. Whenever she needs something, she can call, and I'm like, I got it. Don't worry about it. So, you know, I think you got to decide as young people, how do you want to live your life? How do you want to live your life? And for me, being a leader, having confidence and having some integrity has put me in a position to live my life in a way that I'm proud of. And you guys got to do that for yourselves.
Yeah. But since you talking about profession, what made you pick this profession?
Pick me. I was at home in my recliner asleep, and I got a call and said, hey, we need you to come be superintendent of our school system. And I said, let me think on it. I thought about it for about 45 minutes, and I called back and said, I think I could do that. But I did choose to be an educator because I played basketball all my life. I played in college, and then I started thinking that I knew I wasn't going to the NBA, but I still wanted to be around basketball. So I said, you know what, how can I still be around basketball? I could become a coach. So I started thinking about, where can I coach? Do I want to start my own little league team? Do I want to coach high school? Do I want to coach middle school? So I decided, I thought to myself, I want to coach high school, but I better start middle school. So when I graduated from college, I started working on trying to get a job in education. I got my first job at Capital Middle School because the coach who coached me, Lewis Bond at Capital Middle, he was still there coaching. And I called him and I said, if I get a job at Capital, will you let me help you coach? He said, yeah. So I ended up going to Capital Middle. I coached Glenn Davis. I coached Tyrus Thomas. I was able to start coaching, and that's how I got in the profession of education. And then when I got in the profession, some of the people at the time who noticed how I engaged with kids realized I did a pretty decent job of that, and they pulled me into leadership. And then I realized I wanted to be a principal, and then it just went from there. So, but I love education. I've been all over the world with kids. I've been in a bunch of different countries. I've been to Dubai. I've been to Thailand. I've been to England. all in the work, doing the work of education. So I love it.
Yes, sir. I know this question out the way, but you think you're a better principal than Principal Jackson?
I think I'm the best principal ever in the history of the world. In the history of the world. Now, let me say this. I think Mr. Jackson is a great principal. Let me say that. I also think LeBron James is a great basketball player. But I think Michael Jordan is the best in the world.
No,
And I think I'm the Michael Jordan of being principals.
No, bro. LeBron's the best in the world.
But that's my point. I think Mr. Jackson is a great principal. But I think I'm the Michael Jordan of being principals.
Second place.
In the world.
You second place.
I mean, that's another conversation, but I'm gonna say it like this. In my role as principal, I was liable to go, Michael, take your pick. Jackson, Jordan, Tyson, game 6. You got that? Did you catch that?
But since we talking about basketball, and sports like that, like, you know how the other schools like Zachary, Central, and all them other schools, how was they able to get like notification to their gyms, like their gyms get built and stuff like that? But we've been winning like since the past 10 years, and we just getting our gym built. Like,
couple of different reasons for that. The folks who are in leadership to make those decisions didn't make the decisions to do it right away.
yes, sir.
You wonder why y'all just getting it done?
Why?
Because I'm here. And it's a priority for me that we expand our high school athletic experiences for our students. We don't have not one high school in the city of Baton Rouge with a turf field. We don't have robust weight room facilities and really nice locker rooms. So I just went out and secured $40 million to be able to do that for all of our high schools. Principal Jackson is putting together a list of things that he wants for this high school, and we're going to try to get it for y'all right away, because I believe in making sure kids not only have good academic programming and support systems in place, but I think for students who have interest in playing sports, they ought to have great athletic facilities. And so we're going to invest in that in all of our schools. It has to be a priority for the folks making the decision. And I can't say anything negative about the people who were there before me. But what I will tell you is now it's a priority for me.
Yes, sir.
So Scotlandville might get a turf field if that's what Mr. Jackson requests. Y'all might get an upgraded football, basketball, soccer, and volleyball locker rooms for the kids if that's what he wants. Cheerleaders, I went out right now and we securing band uniforms for every high school, because I believe all of our bands ought to, show up and show out. And in order to show up and show out, you ought to look like something. I mean, I said that at the beginning. I believe people ought to look good. You look good, you feel good, you do good. And then if you do good, they pay good. And so at the end of the day, I just believe we have to make those types of investments in all of our programs. And so that's what we're attempting to do. But to answer your question, it's because folks in leadership didn't make it a priority. And for me, Scotlandville and the athletic facilities you have here are a priority.
So since we talking about priorities, what is your main priority?
Keep y'all safe. That's my number one priority, is that, so it makes me proud to know that all of you feel safe here. The one thing that bothers me more than anything is when I talk to a student who feels like he or she is being bullied or made to feel unsafe. Nothing makes me more insane. I could deal with kids not doing their work in class. I could deal with kids making mistakes. But when someone says they don't feel safe, that drives me insane. So my priority is to figure out a way to ensure all 40,000 of the students who attend our school system feel safe. So much so, you guys start getting on social media challenging each other, saying we got the safest school in the city. Nobody fights at our school. Nobody fights at Scotlandville. We so safe we don't even fight. That's what I would love to see, that there was a citywide competition amongst high schools saying we don't have those type of issues. I remember one time a kid said to me, a girl was trying to fight her, and she was like, "Oh, that's not even on my level. I don't fight. I'm too pretty to be out here fighting." I was so excited to hear her ignore that. I wish that was the competition, that the kids here and saying we got the sickest school in the city. Why? Because don't nobody at our school fight. Everybody feels safe. We happy. We win championships. We take care of each other. We support each other. That's why we got the sickest school in the city. Not because we could jig and listen to NBA Youngboy and do this dance that he does, but because we safe and we take care of each other. That's my number one priority. If that would have happened, I would go down as the greatest superintendent in the history of the world. If everybody in the city was like, we got the safest school system in the city because we don't do that foolishness. That's what I would love to happen. That's my priority.
And I got a question for you right
Sure.
now, Andrew. I just wanted to know, like, when you stopped playing college basketball and you realized like you couldn't make it to the NBA, like, what was your plan after that? Like, what did you think you were gonna be doing in your life?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it was in February of 1994. I was playing basketball at Nicholls State University, and we were in a really big game against Northeast. That's now UL Monroe, and the gym was real packed, and it was electric in there. And everybody was really excited, and we were going back and forth, and the game was real intense. And I was sitting on the end of the bench, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Man, this ain't gonna work out for me, man. This ain't gonna work out. So I went home to my dorm room and I cried like a baby because I really wanted to play, and I just realized at that moment I wasn't good enough. I was good enough in high school, but when I made it to collegiate level, my skills just didn't advance to be able to play at that level, and I started thinking I gotta do something else. And so it was at that moment I went home. I went to the coach and I told him, well, I played the rest of the season. And then we went to the NCAA tournament that year and played Virginia, and we lost in the first round. And then during the summer, I went to coach and told him, I said, listen, I think I'm going to take my talents home. I'm going to give this basketball thing up. So to answer your question, I didn't really have a plan. I just knew I had to start thinking about what was my next move. So the next thing I said was, I need to graduate from college. I got all these courses I've taken over 3 years. I need to graduate from college. And then I started to think about what was I going to get a degree in. And so when I went to talk to my advisor, he told me, you can graduate this year because you got a whole bunch of courses. You can get a degree in general studies. And so I got a degree in general studies. And then a woman by the name of Pam Mackey, who worked in the school system, called me and said, hey, you need to come work in the school system. And then I did what she said. I came and worked in the school system, and I thought about, could I still coach? And then I said high school, middle school, biddy ball, or start my own team. I thought middle school. So I called, like I told y'all, I called Coach Bond, and he said, yeah, come help me. And then I went to Capital Middle, and the rest is history. And so I think sometimes when things don't work out, you got to think to yourself, what's going to be my next move, and then map out your next steps. And so for me, it wasn't what I was going to do, it was what I was going to accomplish, and that was earn a degree. My parents sent me to school to get a degree. Basketball didn't work out, even though it paid for me to go to school. It didn't work out. So I at least wanted to make my mom proud, so I got a college degree. And then after that, things will work out. But I want to make sure you all understand this. Sometimes when you don't know, I'm a spiritual guy. I'm not forcing my thoughts on anybody else, but I always ask God to guide my steps. And when I ask God to guide my steps, you got to be willing to move your feet. So when I asked him to give me some guidance on the next move, things started to happen. And I continue to do that every single morning, wake up and ask God for guidance. There's a reason why I'm in this seat right now today, right? I didn't know when I woke up this morning I was going to be sitting here talking to y'all. I didn't know. That wasn't part of my plan, right? But we plan, God plans, and God is the best of all planners. But something good is going to come out of this conversation, I believe anyway. But, I'm just excited to be here with y'all, talking to the young people.
I have another one. So, like, since we asking y'all stuff to do around the school, like, what are things we can do around the school, like, to help y'all?
Not
I think
fight,
we should.
take care of each other, support each other. See how you got that big, beautiful smile? Smile at each other instead of mean mugging each other. Those types of things. Man, I'm telling y'all, I believe this with all my heart and soul. If the students in our school system would adopt a thought process of taking care of each other instead of wanting to defend themselves when something go wrong, man, we have a great, you guys would have everything you could ever imagine. You might mess around and have a Chick-fil-A on your campus for lunch every day if we were just able to take care of each other. A lot of times people don't want to invest in our school system or support our students because they believe our students don't care about each other. And we know that's not true, but when you take your phone out and videotape a fight and and post it on Instagram, and that just contributes to people thinking the worst of us. And I think if we were to change that and people start to see that we really do love each other, we really do support each other, and we really take care of each other, everybody be like, I want to do this at Scotlandville. I want to do that over there at the school. I want to help them have this. I want to help them have that. So we have to think about what is it that we're saying to the world about what we care about, right? Are we showing the world we care about each other? Or are we showing the world all we want to do is destroy each other? So when we post fights on social media, when we post videos on social media, we're showing the world all we care about is destroying each other. So if we could change that, I think if students could adopt that thought process, that would be so beneficial. It'll make everything so much easier, and eventually it'll make everything so much better.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Throughout your journey and life throughout this time, do you have any regrets that you think about?
None at all. I don't live with regrets because you can't go back and change the past. All right. Are there things I would do differently if I could do them over? Yes. If I could do some things over, I was mean to a girl when I was a junior in high school. I was really mean to her. And she texted me not long ago and told me that I had been really mean to her and it still bothered her to this day. I don't regret it, but if I could do it differently, I wouldn't be mean to her. I was mean to her though. I'm not gonna make any excuses. I was mean to her. You want to know the truth? Well, I'm one of those people that since I've been sitting in this room, I've studied all of you. All right. And when I was growing up, we played the dozens, right? In other words, we talked about each other. And I'm one of those people who could do that really, really well. Like I could do that really, really well. But one of the things I try not to do is somebody start messing with me right now, talking about me, my weight, my hair, or anything. I always give them 3 chances to leave me alone. All right. And I say to people, you sure you want to do that? I'll let you get one off. And then you get your second one off. And then you get your third one off. And I say, all right, I got to get you up off me. And then I start giving it back. And I said something. So she was messing with me, like talking about me. And I was telling her, hey, go ahead. Now leave me, go on now. And she kept going. And I fired back. But what I said to her embarrassed her, like really embarrassed her. You know what I mean? And I really hurt her feeling. I was on a television show one time, a national television show called The Tempest Bledsoe Show. You can look it up on YouTube right now. And the topic of the show was, I used to be ugly in high school and look at me now. There was a girl in high school that I used to tease because she didn't look good. She took me on a talk show to show me she looked better. You can look it up on YouTube. It's on there right now. Yep. And but I was cold with this ribbon now, the dozens. But as I got older, I changed. But I shouldn't be telling you all this. But so no, I don't live with regrets. But I do think I've made mistakes, and the same honest mistake doesn't keep happening over and over. If you make a mistake, hopefully you learn from it. So I've learned. So now I try not to mess with people like that. When people mess with me, I just try to take it all in stride and laugh it off. And in my mind, I'm thinking that, that clown talking about me and she looked like a horse. But, I say it to myself instead of saying it out loud because I don't want to hurt people. But that's the deal. But you got a good smile, but you should smile all the time.
So much.
All the
These girls tell me that a lot.
If my teeth looked like yours when I was in high school, I'd be smiling every day, just smiling.
That's on camera, right?
Just smiling.
That's on camera?
I'd just be smiling all the time.
Give me that.
You got a good smile and good looking skin. I'd be smiling.
Thank you so much. I hear that a lot. Thank you so much.
I'd just be smiling if I were you, man. I ain't lying.
Thank you, Mr. Lamont Cole, for your time.
My pleasure. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, my name is Jessica Bell.
My name is Dwayne Bell.
And you've been tuned in to SLV Hornets TV. Thank you for watching.